The film opens with a group of thugs brutally attacking a man, but the lone guy turns into a beast and wipes them out one by one. Just when he thinks it's over, a bullet from behind ends his life. His body is cleaned up, the evidence erased, except for one empty bullet shell. That shell rolls through dirty alleys and eventually reaches the city. Cut to Fumika Matsuoka, a college girl juggling classes and her part-time restaurant job. But deep inside, she dreams of becoming a social media sensation. To chase fame, she meets popular influencer Masaki Katayama. Fumika tries to convince him to help her become a content creator. Katayama ignores her passion and instead tries to drag her into drinking and drugs. She refuses the drugs but sticks around, hoping to get his support. He keeps drinking non-stop, making her miss her last train. They end up wasting the entire night in the bar talking nonsense. Fumika realizes meeting him was pointless and even considers kicking him to the curb, but she controls herself and leaves at dawn. On her way home, she slips on the stairs and spots a strange bullet casing. The moment she touches it, she gets sudden flashes of the gun that fired it. Shaken, she quickly keeps the shell in her purse and walks away. Outside her apartment, her injured friend Maho Ida waits for her, scared to go home. Fumika notices bruises on Maho's face and tells her to break up with her abusive partner. They both head inside. Suddenly, Fumika notices a strange man standing near the door and freaks out. Maho asks what happened, but when she looks, there is no one there. Fumika insists the man is covered in blood and standing right in front of them. Maho assumes Fumika must be high or hallucinating. Fumika panics and throws something at the figure, but it passes straight through him. She starts screaming that it is a ghost, causing even Maho to feel uneasy. Maho tries to calm her down as the bloody figure suddenly disappears. Porque Fumika finally breathes again, shaken but relieved. Just then, Maho gets a message and says she has to leave immediately. Before going, she advises Fumika to see a doctor and then exits. The moment Fumika locks the door and turns around, she hears the same man's voice asking if letting Maho go was a good idea. Terrified, Fumika curls up in a corner, trembling at the sound of him speaking. She rushes to open the door and escape, but as she stumbles, the ghost grabs her hand to stop her from falling. She still falls, but now the spirit forcefully enters her body. Shockingly, both of them can speak to each other from within the same body. Even more bizarre, they both have partial control over her movements. Fumika demands that he get out of her body immediately. The ghost explains he is new to being dead and does not fully understand how this possession thing works. Fumika refuses to listen and keeps yelling for him to leave her. He finally agrees and exits her body, saying, "That is enough for today." Relieved and thanking God for surviving, Fumika believes it is finally over. But the ghost reappears in front of her again, casually stating that possessing someone is not as fun as he expected. Fumika screams in horror and runs as the spirit is still right there with her. Fumika keeps running, wondering if she should call the police or a priest. But the moment she steps off the staircase, the ghost pops back in front of her. Turns out, if she moves more than 15 meters away from him, he auto-teleports right to her face. She bolts again, heart racing, until she spots Maho in a dark alley. Maho's toxic boyfriend is demanding money and getting violent. Fumika confronts him, but he warns her to stay out of their business and drags Maho away. Maho silently follows, broken and scared. Furhi, the ghost, appears beside Fumika and calmly asks if she wants to punish him. She's terrified, but doesn't run this time. He stretches out his hand, offering power in exchange for control. Fumika refuses, not wanting to be possessed again. The ghost reminds her of Maho's bruises and pain, asking if she will just watch. Fumika sees Maho being assaulted again and realizes staying silent is worse than fear. She grabs the ghost's hand, agreeing to share her body once more. The spirit enters her like a surge of dark energy. When Maho's boyfriend tries to punch her, Fumika catches his fist mid-air and twists his arm. She launches a brutal counterpunch that sends him crashing to the ground. He gets up, cursing and threatening murder. But the next second, he freezes as if his soul has been unplugged, then collapses like a lifeless puppet. The ghost exits her body, satisfied with a payback. Suddenly, the boyfriend regains consciousness and charges at Fumika, hands around her throat. The ghost yells for her to take his hand again, but she struggles to reach him. Just before she blacks out, Maho smashes a brick on her boyfriend's head, saving her life. The two girls help each other up and walk away, shaken but alive. Meanwhile, the ghost casually observes the unconscious man and complains about people using bricks to kill. He tells Fumika to at least check if the guy is still breathing. Fumika remains silent, simply staring back at him. Maho hesitantly asks if Fumika can really see someone there. Fumika slowly nods, confirming the nightmare is real. Fumika, Maho, and the ghost end up inside a thrift shop to catch their breath. Fumika lays it all out. No one else can see, hear, or touch him but her. Maho realizes the fights weren't Fumika's strength at all. It was the ghost using her body. Fumika glances at her hands, furious, blaming him for everything. Panicking, she searches online for how to get rid of a ghost. She grabs a salt bottle and starts pouring it where he's sitting. Maho quickly stops her as people start staring like she's gone crazy. The ghost complains that he helped her and now she's mad at him. Fumika yells for him to leave, but he says it's not that easy. He reminds her of the bullet shell she picked up, the same one that killed him. Startled, Fumika pulls it out and throws it away. The ghost explains he doesn't remember how he died, only that the shell ties his soul to her. Fumika realizes she's linked to a murdered man. He introduces himself as Hideo Kudo, a former hitman. That name alone freezes her blood. Kudo reveals he worked for a secret organization, and his own people betrayed and killed him. Now he's stuck here until he gets revenge. He tells Fumika they'll hunt his killers together. She's horrified, refuses outright, and storms out of the shop. Fumika tells Maho she wants nothing to do with revenge or ghosts. From now on, she'll ignore Kudo completely. Ibrahim Kudo sighs, saying he wishes that Cartridge had ended up with a soldier instead. Before parting, Fumika hands Maho an alarm and warns her, "If that ghost shows up again, call her first, and then the police." She waves. Fumika walks to a church and tosses the cartridge into the shadows, hoping the place will break Kudo's hold. Kudo shrugs. He's no expert in holy tricks and doubts it will work. A message from Masaki Katayama pops up with a photo of Naromi, and Fumika lights up with excitement. Kudo asks who Naromi is and why she's so thrilled. Fumika says Naromi is a social media star with over 70,000 followers. Kudo sees the photo and goes pale. He warns Naromi is bad news. Fumika presses him for proof, but Kudo's memory is a blank, so she walks away. She follows Masaki and Naromi into the bar and sits down to drink with them. The night sours fast as both men get touchy, and Fumika's head starts to swim. She tries to pay and leave, but her legs wobble. Someone slips something into her glass. Masaki and Naromi whisper that the drug worked faster than they expected. Kudo suddenly remembers and tells Fumika that Naromi and Masaki drug girls and take advantage of them. He explains his old organization made pills like these, and he once watched them buy from the same supplier. Fumika doesn't fully trust him, but she won't risk it. She promises to break their bones if this is true. Kudo asks how she'll do it, and she answers bluntly she'll let him into her body. Kudo questions why he should help, and she vows to help him back afterward. He concedes, but warns the bartender and staff are probably in on it. When the bartender attempts to spike her next drink, Kudo calls him out and ruins their setup. Fumika tells them flatly she knows they spiked her drink and warns them to hand themselves over to the police. They laugh and say the police can do nothing to people like them. Fumika connects with Kudo and tells him it's too late to back out now. Masaki mocks her, so she picks him as her first target. Like a trained fighter, she dismantles them one by one, brutal and efficient. The bar explodes into chaos, and the bartender ends up dead in the scuffle. Fumika collapses, sobbing from shock and guilt. Kudo panics, promising he will not let her go to jail. He says they must erase the bodies and every trace. These men deserve it, he rages. Kudo admits they'll need help and calls a man who worked for his old outfit. Fumika dials and tells the stranger she knows Kudo, begging him to come. Toshihisa Kagehara arrives, sizing the room up and asking if Fumika is alone and where Kudo is. Fumika explains Kudo is a ghost and only she can see him. Kagehara scoffs and treats it like a joke, knife already in his hand. Kudo panics and leaps into Fumika, grabbing the knife through her and turning it on Kagehara in a single fluid move. Kagehara freezes. Only someone controlling a body like that could move like this. He finally believes her and gets to work without another word. They load the bodies into a truck, silent and methodical, and drive away into the night. Fumika asks Kagehara about how Kudo died as they drive through the night. Toshihisa Kagehara says he doesn't know the full story, only that their syndicate's old boss recently died. The new boss took over and started dirtying the business, and Kudo hated the change. Fumika pieces it together and asks if the boss himself had Kudo killed. Kagehara shrugs. He doesn't have that answer. They pull up at the alley where Kudo was murdered, and the place feels eerily familiar to the ghost. Kagehara finishes the job with cold efficiency, wiping out the remaining witnesses and cleaning the scene. He drops Fumika off at her apartment and, before leaving, asks if Kudo truly appears to her. Fumika nods grateful and exhausted, and Kagehara vows never to return. Inside, Fumika thanks Kudo, admitting she doesn't know what would have happened without him. Kudo confesses he killed many in his life, but helping people in this afterlife feels strangely right. Fumika makes him promise to stay a different kind of hero now, and Kudo agrees. She collapses into sleep, drained from the night's violence. Cut to Kudo's old syndicate headquarters, where the new boss frets over whether Kudo really died. Toshihisa Kagehara walks in to report. Kudo's ghost has possessed a college girl. The boss scoffs, but Kagehara warns him not to send small-time thugs to investigate. Nobody must be left alive to know the truth. The boss laughs it off, while Kagehara stares at him with a look that promises consequences. Fumika's apartment is suddenly surrounded by thugs. Kudo wakes her up, sensing danger, and warns her. He hears voices approaching. She realizes 4 men are heading straight for them. The moment a sound hits the door, Kudo tells her to grab his hand. One thug enters, and Kudo instantly takes control, pointing the gun at the remaining 3. The syndicate boss outside sees bullets flying and rushes in. He finds his men down and Fumika escaping through the balcony. She races to the alley where Kudo was killed, only to find Kagehara already there. Kagehara explains he tipped off the thugs about Fumika. Kudo fumes, blaming him for the mess in her apartment. Fumika demands he fix the chaos he caused. Kagehara aims his gun at her, but Kudo jumps in, disarms him, and tosses the weapon aside. A tense fight erupts between them. Kagehara tries to grab another gun and shoot, but Kudo seizes it and points it back. Suddenly, memories flood Kudo. He remembers how he died. Kagehara confesses he killed him under orders from the new syndicate boss. Kudo asks why, and Kagehara explains the old rebellion had fizzled when Kudo left the job, leaving him no choice. Kudo recalls that when Kagehara came for him, he had asked to be killed. Tired of life, he wanted it over. Kagehara breaks down, crying, revealing he was trapped in the same despair. Meanwhile, the new boss rages. How did a single girl outsmart professional fighters and escape? His men whisper, noting her strength is unnatural, claiming a ghost must inhabit her. Kagehara warns Fumika she needs to leave the city. Her enemies won't stop chasing her. Fumika snaps back, why not take out the boss instead? Destroy the syndicate, end the threat, and free Kudo. Kagehara hesitates. The risk is huge, and Fumika could die. Fumika glares, furious, insisting she'll do it herself, no matter who comes or goes. Her apartment was destroyed because of them, and she won't let the boss go unpunished. She leaves with Kudo in tow. Soon, Kagehara arrives with a car, saying if she's going to die, he's coming along. They reach the syndicate headquarters. Kagehara scouts inside to map the guards' positions while Fumika and Kudo head to the armory. Kudo leads the way, alerting Fumika to danger. He sees everything, even what she can't. They grab all the weapons needed and inform Kagehara, who joins them. Kudo merges with Fumika's body and they strike, guns blazing, fists flying. A brutal showdown leaves most thugs dead. The boss survives until Kudo shoots both knees, forcing him to sit on the floor. Fumika demands her apartment money. The boss scoffs at the destruction she caused, but her real goal was giving Kudo freedom. Kagehara finishes off the boss, finally ending the syndicate. Fumika, battered and sore, limps home, thanking Kudo for everything. She notices he's no longer with her, he's gone. Kagehara asks if Kudo spoke. She smiles and says he's probably moved on. Kagehara promises to cover her apartment expenses and vows they'll never meet again. Iburuku Fumika thanks him and walks home. Days later, she finds the same bullet shell on the stairs. A smile spreads across her face as she pockets it, wondering if Kudo might return one day.